What's going on, everybody? I got to do an old man rant. Uh, Biden. My head just explodes when I say that name. That's why I call him old Biden, because it's a little bit easier on my nerves. He's claiming that, I think he said it was in the last, or since he's been president, he has dropped the national debt $1.5 trillion. He said this. He also says we're not in a recession. Things are great. Jobs are everywhere. The country is in the best shape it's been in since it started. Isn't it funny how all these presidents say? Trump said it, Obama said it, the Bushes said it, the Clintons said it. They all said it all the way down to the Kennedys, even the corrupted ass Kennedys. They always claim, everything's better now while I'm in it than it's been ever. Anyway, this walking brain dead public educated moron that we have as a president claims they have dropped the national debt $1.5 trillion. And Nancy Pelosi explained all this. Pelosi, I don't know. Is she a Polak? I don't know. I think so, though. But anyway, she explained it. It might have been in a drunken stupor or whatever, but she explained it. The more the government borrows from China and Russia and whoever else they're borrowing from, the more the national debt drops. That's why if you go on that, that website that you can go on and it's got the national debt running, and that sucker, it's flipping like, man, you could probably power the United States off of just that. If you could find a way to harness that spinning of that national debt clock and that counter, man, if you could do that, we could power the country with that. That's no doubt. But that sucker, it ain't running backwards, Brandon. It ain't running backwards. That sucker's still running forwards. I looked. I wanted to believe you, Biden. I wanted to believe you when you said this. So I went and looked. That sucker ain't backed up nothing. So what you want us to do, once again, both parties, Democrats and Republicans, once again, they want me to don't believe my lying eyes. And that counter that they put in place, I don't know when they put that counter in place, but it wasn't since Biden's been in office, so I kind of believe it a little bit more than what they're telling me. But they want to tell me my lying eyes, these eyes that have been lying to me all my life. I'm looking at that counter, and it's not backed up, not even a penny. It's still, man, you could fly, you could lift the entire earth off the ground with the spin on this damn national debt, American national debt. If you could harness that spin of that clock or whatever it is. That's a joke, people. That's a joke. I don't know if you guys understand this, but back when the Constitution and all this country was put into place, the government couldn't borrow any amount of money that they couldn't borrow and pay back to the American people the year before. If they borrowed, let's just say back then, and we'll just say $100,000 from the American people, and they were able to pay back the $100,000, then the next year they were in, they could also borrow that $100,000. They couldn't borrow over that. They could not borrow over what they could pay back to the American people. This is the way this government was at one time, folks. And that's when it was the republic. It's not the republic no more. If you would just listen to this and look into it, eventually all this information, you will not be able to find it anymore. But this was the facts. They could not borrow anymore. If they borrowed $100,000 and they were only able to pay back $80,000 back to the American people that they borrowed the money from, because now they're borrowing money from the Federal Reserve and the American people are responsible for it. That's your democracy, folks. That's your damn democracy. It's no longer and there ain't no such thing as a democratic republic. That's the stupidest thing you could ever say. Because in the republic, you can't change shit unless we all agree to it. Not a majority. There was nowhere in the Constitution that a majority decided anything. When it come to the laws, when it come to the Constitution, and you're going to change the laws of the land, a majority had nothing to do with it. You had to have everyone in on it. And if I wasn't in on it, it didn't happen. When you became a democracy now, they control it all. They got the Federal Reserve, which isn't even a part of the government, making money. The Constitution said only the government can make money. It don't work that. People, you are being paid with IOUs at best. How can they call it currency? If you buy your property, you never own it. You'll pay taxes on your cars, your houses, your property, your businesses. For however long you have them, you will pay taxes on them. Period. You cannot own anything because you haven't been paid with real currency. Do you not understand? A Federal Reserve note, it says it right at the top of all your money. And we don't even want to talk about your fake-ass coins today. What do they call that? Clad, might as well say fake. But your other money, it says it right at the top, Federal Reserve note. That's a promissory note. Look it up, folks. It's an IOU. The only way an IOU works in this world is if you're buying stuff from the company store that you work for that owes you the IOU. So if you think you're all not working for the same people because you're using the same money, yet you're wrong. Just like when Caesar was in control. Caesar had control of the money, he had control of everything. It ain't no different in America. Rome never was. There's more control of Rome. Rome controls more of America than you even know. Or understand. Your calendars. Everything. People, you don't. I'm not going into that. I'm moving on to the next one. I got a few things I want to get in here. Anyway, a couple of these are just stupid shit. I've had some pretty stupid shit happen in my life. And when I was living up in Colorado, I was working at a sawmill. And this didn't happen to me, but it happened to a guy I worked with up there. I was working at a sawmill, and this guy come in one day, and he's telling me, I'm telling you what, this just cracked me up, because this is the way people are in this world today. And well, this was 20 years, no, not 20, probably 30 years ago. And but this guy comes into work, and I'm coming on, he's going home. I worked the night shift. I was security. And firemen and everything else at that place at night. I was the only one on the property. I had a black lab dog. She followed me everywhere. But this guy comes in telling me one night, he goes, man, you ain't going to believe this. I'm going, what? He's going, my truck broke down out here on Sutton's Road. I think it was. I don't know. He goes, my truck broke down. He goes, I ended up walking back because this was before all the cell phones. And even up there in Colorado, where I'm talking about, cell phones wouldn't have worked anyway. They didn't have towers back then, or back then. But so he had to walk back to wherever payphone was or something. He called somebody, got somebody to come and get him, get some tools. They're going to work on the truck on the side of the road. Now, they finally, they came and got him, picked him up, driving him back over to his truck. They pull up. There's two guys. They've got the front end of his truck sitting up on blocks. His two front tires, I guess, were in the back of their truck already. And they're jacking up the back to take the back wheels and tires off of it. He comes walking up. The guy's back there with him, or back in the truck, and he's going, man. And he goes, man, I'm getting the fuck out. And he jumps out and he comes walking up there, and these guys are looking at him. He walks up, sticks his key in the door, and unlocks it, and opens the door and pops the hood on his truck because he's going to work on it. As he shuts the door, the guy pulling the tires off of his own truck looks at him and says, don't worry about us. All we want's the tires and the rims. You can have everything else, man. And the guy looked at him, reached back, slapped his gun up on the damn hood of his truck and said, this is my truck. And all of a sudden, that nobody was moving. He still got it in his hand. He goes, now what we're going to do now is we're going to get my tires out of your truck. We're going to put them all back on my truck. And if you put them all back on and I check them before you leave, if all the lugs are tight, I'm not going to call the cops. These guys put the rims and tires back on his truck, tightened all the lugs up, and asked him, you want to check them, man? You want to? And he walked around and checked them, and he said, all right, you guys get the hell out of here. Now, that's some people that's got some balls right there, man. But this was way out in the country. They probably figured it was somebody that wasn't local or something, you know. And you have to ask yourself, how many times they've done this with other vehicles out there broken down, you know. Next thing I want to talk about is I brought up on a channel that I watch, and I watch his live streams. Everybody knows who it is, BG. But I was talking on there about having a blown turbo with two broken axles. And I don't know, because he cut it off right at the end. I don't know if anybody even saw what I said. But I know you guys, you heard him say it. So I want to tell you, I want to finish it now. My wife bought this, but we still got the car sitting out here. It's a 2017 Ford Escape. Now this thing comes with a high-powered 1.5-liter four-cylinder motor. And they strapped a turbo on top of that thing. Now, you want to talk about fast. Now, the dealership told me when I asked, will this thing do 100 mile an hour? They said, no, hell no, it won't do no 100 miles. If you want to do 100, you got to buy the 2.4 liter or something like that. I think it was a 1.5 and then moved up to a 2.5. If you want to do 100 mile an hour, you got to buy the 2.4. I said, okay. Challenge accepted. She bought that damn car. And I'll tell you what, folks, I've even, every car I've ever had, every car my parents have ever, any car that anybody has ever let me drive, let's just put it like that. I've had it at 100 miles, 100 mile an hour at least. I've been doing this all my life. Now, I have had, I've been in, my cousin had a 1970 Roadrunner with a 440 Magnum 6-pack in it. We were doing it had a 150 mile an hour speedometer, folks. We were doing 150 plus when we passed a cop. Now, this cop came out, flipped. He came out from nowhere. We were doing 150. He could have been sitting anywhere. We were already going too fast. So, but he was sitting on the side of the road as we come by. Well, he comes out, turns on his lights. My cousin's driving, and I'm turning around. I'm going, man, he's got his lights on. We got to get out of here. And my cousin's going, well, I ain't got no more. I've got it to the floor. We've had it to the floor. And finally, I'm looking back, and I'm going, man, wait a minute. He turned the lights off. We're going up a big 4-lane highway. He turned the lights off. He turned around, went the other way. We thought we got away with it. But back in 1978, my cousin was the only one in Campbell County, Tennessee. I think he might have been the only one in eastern Tennessee that had the Hemi Orange paint job on the 1970 Roadrunner. The cop knew exactly who it was. He'd been ticketed many times. So he sent him the ticket in the mail. But he got a ticket for doing 100 mile an hour instead of the 150 that we passed that cop at. But I've always, when I get in cars, I want to see what that motor will do and how quick it'll get there. 100's my mark. I usually stop there. But sometimes I push it further. I've had Hemi motors and I've pushed them. A lot of Mopar motors I pushed. But this was a 1.5 liter turbo motor. I never pushed a lawnmower quite this fast. And I pissed off somebody, flipping them off or something. But somebody was chasing me. I don't remember why. But I said, all right, let's go. And I just nailed it, and I held it. And I'll tell you what, folks, at 110, it was still grabbing and going. The other guy done backed out of it. He backed out of it about 100, around 100 mile an hour. He was driving Big Dooley. And he backed out of it about 100, so I held it at 110 for a little while. Get a little ways on past him, you know. And I drove that car for 2 or 3 months. And finally, we took that sucker into the shop. And the guy told me the turbo was blown. And both axles, it was a front wheel drive. It only had 2 axles. He said both axles were snapped in half. I'm like, how in the hell did I drive it for 2 months or 2.5 months after that if it had a blown turbo and a freaking 2 broken axles, snapped clean in half? How the hell did I drive it, you know? But that's what these mechanics say, folks. They said that. My wife, I don't even know for sure if the 110 mile an hour on the interstate broke or blew anything. But I'm sure that motor was not rated for that. And we still got it. It's still running. Still running. That damn turbo cost us $600 just for that one. I can't remember. It was like $2,500 for the turbo and the 2 front axles and having it all put in shit. But something else that somebody said to me, and it was they were following up with my statement of my home isn't on this earth. And they had made the statement behind that saying, yeah, but it says in the book that heaven's coming to earth. And that is true. That is a true statement, folks. But if you look into it, and I might even be wrong, but I don't think I am. But I could be. I am just a old man. I have old man shit. And I didn't really look it up, but I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to go ahead and say it. What the Bible actually says is that Jesus will destroy this earth, all of it, and it will be remade. And then heaven will be brought to that earth. And from what I understand, if I'm not mistaken, that earth won't have no oceans on it. No oceans. It will still have lakes and water and everything, but no oceans. This land will also have animals that a baby can crawl up to, a python or a king cobra or a gator or a lion. And the animals will not hurt the baby. They have no want to hurt the baby. They will have no want to. There will not even be death among the animals, I don't believe. Now, I could be wrong about that. But it says there will be no sicknesses or death or anything with the people. And the animals will be there. So, I don't believe there will be any death. I don't believe animals will be eating animals or people. And it states, I guess they will make them vegetarian. Well, I guess we'll all be vegetarians at that time. Whatever, if we even eat, I don't know. But it's not this same earth. It's not this same earth. And if I'm wrong about that, and I think you'll know who I'm talking about. And if I'm wrong about that, please show me, please. I'm begging you, please. But this is what I've been shown. That this earth, all of it, everything will be destroyed and rebuilt. And from that, I want to say God loves you. Folks, I love you. Please find Jesus' path. He was sent here to guide you to the Father. Look at what he went through. Don't let him do that in vain for you and then not even accept it. His blood is what will save us all. If you let it, but you have to let it. You have to ask for it. You have to want it. It don't just get thrown at you, and if it sticks on you, you got it. It doesn't work that way. So please believe me. Seek Jesus. Find what he did. Do it. Follow what he tells you to do. And you will make it through that straight gate. I hope to see you on the other side. And if I'm not on that side, I still hope to see you on that other side. Till the next one.